All right, we ready? And grab your bag and go. That's it. Move, move. Go, 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 go. One, Armani suits and run.
Manager to cash register.
All
Manager to
right.
cash register.
All right. Armani, week 12. Uh, Positive week in week 11. Back on the positive side of things, it was a par week, if you will. 3-2 brought us to 28 and 27 overall. Um, we had Rico as the international correspondent last week. He got us off to a good start. OT win. We had the Dolphins minus 2.5. Nice to be inside that three number, especially going to overtime. Won by a field goal, so that's how we got that. Picked up a couple wins in the early slate. Bears and a thriller. I actually forgot we were getting 2.5 in that game. So when that because
Yeah.
they were up pretty big in the fourth quarter, and then they started to blow it. And obviously ended up pulling it out. But like that whole time I was sitting there and I'm like, wait, if they kick the field goal and win by two, we're gonna lose by half a point. And then I looked and I was like, oh shit, we're getting 2.5. Um, so that was a sigh of relief for me. But a good win. Steelers won in a blowout. Kieran, that was your pick. Ravens, man, lost by the hook. That was brutal. Felt like we should have had that.
They didn't deserve. They didn't deserve that cover though.
What's
Yeah,
that? No,
they
I mean
didn't. They didn't deserve that cover.
they certainly didn't play deserving, but it's just like Dylan Gabriel goes down, Shador comes in. You look at Shador's numbers. I mean, awful. Like just a brutal performance. The fact that they couldn't cover with those circumstances is like, I mean, I know, and we've talked about this all year. Like the Browns are a scrappy team. They got a great defense. Like it can keep them in a lot of games, but with how awful Shador actually was, um, it is wild to me that they could not cover that number. It really is. But it is what it is. And then that Monday night game, Raiders just, I mean, good Lord. Bad football team. Um, but we move on. Positive week, 3-2, 28 and 27 overall. In terms of best bets, a lot of parity between the three of us. Myself, Kieran, we're 6-5. Bowen, you're 5-6. Um, so, pretty solid. But we move on to week 12. We got a standard week, no international game. So we'll do each of our best bets. Um, and then we are doing we're doing a man Campbell auto lock, correct?
Yeah, they're coming off a loss. That's typically
Yep.
a spot that you hammer them in. I don't have it in front of me, but I know that their record against the spread and straight up is unbelievable off the loss. So it's one of those things where it just felt like, like I said before the call, I knew it was going to be on at least one of your cards. Uh,
Yep. I
Typically
can
that would be a bet by me as well, but that's just not my style. But you're not going to catch me, turning down a chance to have Dan Campbell on our
yeah.
card. So
And I
if we can
can
get it that way, I'll take it.
I can jump in real quick because they were on my card, so I do have the stats. Goff and Campbell, 17, 12 and 1 straight up, 22 and 8 against the spread off a straight up loss as a duo. And they have won and covered 13 in a row, dating back to November 1st of 2022. Goff, obviously, 20 great indoors, 24 and 7 against the spread indoors off a straight up loss. Um, the numbers speak for themselves. Giants have also been poor on the road, especially as underdogs. 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 road games. Lions are 2-0 against the spread this season when favored by double digits, and Giants are near the bottom of the league in run defense. So I also think this is Dan Campbell did say they want to get the ball back to David Montgomery a little bit more. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs has been great the last couple of weeks, but I do expect this is going to be one of those weeks where they're just going to run the shit out of it, run it down their throat, and I love Jameis, but I think it'll be another like quintessential Jameis performance where he'll have a couple exciting plays, but he's going to turn it over. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
Yeah, I think.
He's going to go out. He's going to throw. Maybe not necessarily in this game, but he's going to throw his touchdowns. He's going to throw his interceptions, and a lot of times when they do win, they kind of sneak away with a win. But yeah, he's one of those guys where I think the excitement that comes from him playing, the stats, they don't always match the record. So,
Yeah.
there are games that he can steal. I don't think this is one of them. So, yeah, this does feel like just like an absolute hammer spot for the Lions.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
Giants also ran the ball in Jameis's first start last week really well. Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy both got it going on the ground, and they were able to move the ball that way and kind of kept them in that game. I don't think the Lions' defense is going to be as, um, you know, uh, I think they're like a top five run defense. So I don't think they'll be able to get that going, and I think it's gonna be a long day for Jameis. Just in a general sense, if he's forced to throw the ball, to not the best receiving core, just doesn't feel like a recipe for covering. So it's uh it's a man Campbell lock.
All right. Should we the win?
Let's do it.
Wow.
All right.
I am on the Chiefs minus 3.5 at home against Indy. Uh, Tristan, you good?
Yeah, I'm just hold on. Is she downstairs? Oh, she's on the swing downstairs, isn't she? All right. I was here, sorry. I'm like hearing this noise and I'm trying to figure out what the hell it is. So I went into the other
Yeah,
room and I would find Cleo, but I didn't see her.
yeah.
And then we just figured out it's her downstairs in the basement on the swing. So,
That's why I
okay,
built it.
that is.
But Chiefs minus 3.5 at home against Indy. This is a game I love. I don't think the line really makes much sense. Just looking at what Indy has done and what the Chiefs have done up to this point, I think the line stinks, and I think it's just one of those when you see it, you kind of have to take it. I may be way off, but I think it's Chiefs by a touchdown here. Indy coming off a bye, especially too, makes that line stink even more. You'd think a team getting Jonathan Taylor a week off, getting his legs right, and able to kind of focus, really hone in on this Chiefs. Um, team as a whole and really be able to scheme them up. I would have expected a much lower number, closer to a pick 'em. The Chiefs have not been a team that's lighting the world on fire this year. Really on either side of the ball, they've been pretty. They're 5-5, so they've been pretty average across the board. They're not beating teams by a lot when they do win, and they're not pulling out those close games at the end. But I think that all changes. I think Daniel Jones kind of reverts back again to older Daniel Jones. I think they're able to, Spagnuolo is going to be able to scheme him up and make it a long day for him. So I I really like the Chiefs spot here. Everything's telling me to go Colts, and that's why I have to. That's why I have to go Chiefs, especially with the line, in consideration being 3.5. I don't love the hook there, but it's kind of one of those things I just have to look past and just trust the gut.
I like it. That was one of those games where, of course, for this, I love taking underdogs, and that was one that you look at and you're like, I feel like I got to take the Colts here, but I just couldn't do it. This is just a game that the Chiefs can't lose. Like
Yep.
they genuinely cannot lose this game. If they
Mhm.
do, it gets really, really bleak for their rest of the season outlook. I mean, when you look at their schedule, it's actually a pretty winnable schedule. I think they're going to be all right in the long term, but this is one of those. This could be a really tone-setting loss for how their season's going to go. And I'm also like a narrative guy and not necessarily like I'm not like oh it's his birthday he's gonna score narrative guy, but more so when I see like the internet start to all go one way for or against a team, that's when I think that's when I think the tide starts to change a little bit. A lot of people are shitting on Andy Reid. I shit on Andy Reid all the time, so I'm consistent at least. But a lot of people are starting to doubt and call him almost like late stage Belichick with this team. They're saying that he's wasting Mahomes' prime. People are looking at the Chiefs defense still ranks really high in terms of points allowed, and people are saying, how is this our record, man? Like, what the hell is going on? People talking about Mahomes' deep ball, which, again, that's something I was tweeting about early in the season. So I'm consistent. But everyone's starting to pile on with them. And I feel like this is a game where they come back and they remind us, okay, like they're still the Chiefs, like they're still good. Because they still have a great roster. I mean, early in the season, I kind of got it. Like Worthy was hurt, Rice was out, Kelsey's old, all that stuff. But they have those guys back. Like they have the talent on that roster. And with that defense, I mean, we were starting to fade the Colts a little bit, right? We saw them lose to Pittsburgh. We went against them. Well, I guess Mutt did overseas. But one thing that we liked about that pick was the fact that it felt like we were starting to see cracks in that armor. And we were starting to see this offense that people were talking about with the '07 Patriots and the 13 Broncos and all that stuff, and realizing like Daniel Jones is that quarterback. Like that's just like it's not going to happen for the rest of the season. The Colts are a one and done team. Like they're not going to make it to the conference championship. That's not going to happen. But what I really like about this matchup with the Chiefs defense is that Spagnuolo has always been really good at taking away the top wide
Yep.
receiver. That was always something I like to look at where it's like, you can I don't like betting prop unders, but it's like, you could make good money betting the under on a wide receiver one that's facing the Chiefs. Daniel Jones throws to the first read more than anybody in the league. They're going to look to take that away. They're going to look to make him look around and then go through his progressions. That's where he gets really, really bad. This isn't a primetime game, but this is a primetime field. Daniel Jones is like the worst primetime quarterback ever. So yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, I think the Chiefs know that they can't lose this game. They know that they need to come out and they need to make a statement. If this is college football, this would be one of those where you have to beat them by 40 just to make a statement and tell everybody who you are.
Yeah. The Chiefs overall, like they've been pretty inconsistent against the run, but they have only allowed one 100-yarder rusher this year. They've been very good at, kind of neutralizing or at least, not letting one guy kind of take over the game on the ground. And obviously, that's where the Colts, like they need Jonathan Taylor to do that in order for, Daniel Jones to like really thrive and succeed. Jones also has he popped up on the injury report with a calf injury. Um, in terms of he can be a threat with his legs, but you don't know how much that's going to limit him. You get a defense that puts a little pressure on him too. Those eyes starts to get that deer in the headlights look. And that's where it starts to really go downhill. I still think that this Chiefs team to me, like, I mean, I'm even looking at them at 11-1 to win it all. And I'm kind of like, I feel like this is sprinkle territory because, as you were saying, Kieran, like, that roster is still loaded. And this is a team that knows how to win. And at 5-5, you do look at that schedule, and they're only like one game out of the playoffs, but they're not a team anybody's going to want to see. They've got a lot of winnable games down the stretch. Like I know they have to win this game. Like it is a big one for them. You don't want to go to 5-6, but they still got plenty of games they can win down the stretch. So, but I think this is a great statement game, and I do agree, Zach, that line absolutely reeks.
Yeah.
So I think this is I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather go broke fading the Colts than
Yeah, I agree.
get rich riding Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I just
Well,
don't.
well said.
I might have to make a quote card.
That's that might need to go on a whiteboard behind you. It's like the Michael Scott meme.
All right,
Uh,
back to the wheel. Perfect, perfect. I had my typical card. I had my three picks just to be safe, but there was only one pick I wanted to make, so I'm glad that I could get this one on the board. Taking the Browns +4. Um, I just
Look at Bowen.
Janessa.
First of all, I need them to win, and I need Shadar to show out. Actually, it might be better if they win and he plays like shit, because I really want to. I have that Charlie Kirk edit that I need to tweet. I need of him of Shador hitting the perfect timing with the Charlie Kirk edit. But it's not necessarily a bet on him. I mean, I think if anything, he can't give the Browns worse quarterback play than what they've been getting from Dylan Gabriel. But the Browns, that's been a team that I've been kind of propping up all season. I've been off of them a little bit. It's been a while since I've gone back to that well, but I mean, at the start of the season, I half jokingly said, are we sure they're not a playoff team? And of course, it's not working out that way, but they've been a competitive bad team, which was really my point. They have some really quality wins. And, I watched that game last week, that Raiders game, of course. It was prime time. We had them. That Cowboys pass rush was just constantly in Geno's lap
Yeah.
all game. He had no time to even stand in the pocket. He was constantly backpedaling, trying to get some space so we could get a throw off. Um, I think it's just going to be more of the same with Miles Garrett. I think this is one of those where, I don't ever make these bets, but I'm gonna have to look into it and maybe do like a sack ladder or something for Miles Garrett. Because this could be, what did he have, like five against the Patriots? So it's like, I mean, I just think that that whole pass rush, him, Mason Graham, whoever else they have, they're just going to be in Geno's face all game. I don't know how he's going to be able to get a throw off. I don't think that that run game has really gotten going at all yet with Ginty. I think they're going to have a tough time, and I think that as long as Shadur can give them serviceable quarterback play, that's all it's going to take, especially as 4-point dogs. I just think this is going to be, a one possession game through and through. So give me the team that's getting more than a field goal here in points.
I like the pick.
Yeah.
They were on my card. I actually lowered them on my card because I did have a feeling that it was going to be yours anyway. So I didn't want to go in expecting or needing to take the pick or relying on the pick. So they were up there for me. Everything that you said about the Raiders, nothing's gonna, it's not something that you can change. That offensive line is banged up, and they have guys off the street playing. And Gino, I mean, the sacks that he's taking, they just like look depressing. Not that any sack ever looks, good, but the way he takes sacks, and the way that that offensive line just gives him zero time. It's a depressing watch. Last week was brutal, and I mean that's not even the worst part of that offensive line. They, Ashton Genty ran the ball 6 times, and I think he had a 10-yard run in there as well. So he's getting hit behind the line frequently, and he's not, I mean, it would take. I don't think any running back, back there could really, create yardage off of that type of environment around him. So, yeah, I like the pick. Miles Garrett game record. And yeah, like you said, I don't think Shedeur can be any worse than Dylan Gabriel. If anything, there's a small chance that there's actually a spark from Shedeur. But I mean, I'm not banking on that, but can't be any worse when you're already, at the lowest with Gabriel. So, like the pick. Also, it's 4 points
Yeah.
is the spread.
Yeah.
The Raiders have no business being a 4-point favorite in any game the rest of the season. So, yeah, just for that, I mean, alone is worth taking.
Yeah, it's like the downside with Shadur, we've kind of just seen it with Gabriel. Like
Yeah.
we've seen the lows and I guess the highs, like not really, but yeah, I don't really see how he can be much worse than the worst that Gabriel has given them. So, I'd like to see him come out and throw the ball a bunch. Like, I mean, this is not like a time to, I understand it's the NFL, everybody wants to win, but you don't have to go out here and run the ball 40 times and have Shadur throw it 15 just because you think that might be the best pathway to victory. It's like this is an evaluation period. You have Shadur, you have an opportunity for him to get reps with the starters in a real game. You got Harold Fannin, you got your Judkins, your running back. Lean on these rookies and let them play and just see what they can give you and if you can get any sort of spark moving forward to give you some clarity going into this upcoming draft, just to know what you guys actually need to go out and get.
I mean, he definitely brings a lot more swag to the table than Dylan Gabriel too, and again, even if it's just like a one game pop, I do like this element of like, okay, he knows he's the starter coming into the game. To your point, like These rookies probably feel like they have an opportunity to like, kind of do something a little bit, feed off his swag and his confidence. And I do hope they let him just kind of like see what you got, like just let him do his thing, let him be him. Like don't try and like, don't try and like protect him or anything like that. I think you just let him throw the ball and just see what happens. Plus, it's the fucking Raiders, Like you're not going against the Ravens here. I think he's got an opportunity. So, but I agree too. Like, Bowen, as you said, like the Raiders don't have any business being a 4-point favorite. I don't even think they would be a 4-point favorite. I'm sure they would, but they shouldn't be if they're playing Ohio State. Like, it's a bad football team. It really is. So I like the Browns.
All right.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's Topher?
Coworker.
Is that our Topher that
No.
didn't pay the bill? All right. Let me find my notes. Taking the
The
Steelers.
Topher shit fascinates me. Like,
Oh, like how does that become your name?
Yeah, it's a tough. All right. Steelers plus 2.5 over the Bears. Um, this feels like a great letdown spot for the Bears for me. Um, they're not good against the run. I know, obviously, with the Rodgers injury, we're going to have Mason Rudolph. I mean, if anything, I actually, would have thought that the line would have been even worse with Mason Rudolph as the quarterback, but
Is it Rogers practicing?
is he?
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's like a true. I
It's a
mean,
true game time
I think it's
decision.
a true game time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if they've disclosed enough
Yeah.
information yet for either or. But I think he was taking starter reps
Well, maybe I
throughout
like
the
this
week.
even. Maybe I like this even more then. I mean, the Bears have not been good against the run. So I also think this is a great matchup, an opportunity, for the Steelers to like really feed that 1-2 punch, that they have in the ground attack. Um, and again, like the Bears to me, very inconsistent. I think against TJ Watt and that Steelers defense, I think they can give Caleb Williams some problems. And look, I mean, Tomlin as an underdog, like even if he's got a backup QB, he's 11-4-1 against the spread. So again, I just feel like this is a really solid letdown spot. I think the Steelers, like a very solid team. Obviously, we rode them last week. I think we've rode them a few times to some success this season. So I'm going to go back to the well there. I like them in this spot, getting the points.
Yeah, I was back and forth on this game, so I mean, ultimately just stayed off the card. It was one that I kind of wanted to pick because I think it'll be an interesting game, but I could kind of talk myself into both sides, and I think it's truly one of those where it's like it just depends on which version of each team shows up. I mean, of course, there is the question with Rodgers, but I mean, it is his left wrist, so I mean, he can still play
Yeah,
through, he can still
yeah.
throw. It's more just about receiving the snaps, and then of course, if he takes sacks, he could fall on it, make it even worse, but. Um, it's Rodgers playing against the Bears. He owns the Bears. I believe is it in Chicago as well. So, there's a little bit of that aspect to it. Yeah, and I don't know. I think this is a game where we can learn a lot about who the Bears are. I think we do know who the Steelers are. And they're just going to go back and forth and they can be up and down. But, there's a lot of the talk about the Bears. They haven't really beaten anybody. They're kind of just getting a lot of luck in these one score games. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think there's a chance for it to be like a huge offensive output game for them. But they seem to go up and down, up and down. Caleb Williams is very inconsistent. He's kind of getting carried by his record right now, and a lot of like the window shopping stats, like it looks good, but when you dive into it, you realize maybe he's not playing so great. So yeah, I think this is an opportunity to kind of learn more about what this Bears roster is.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you guys are saying. I truly could see, um, you know, any result here, and it wouldn't shock me. Um, like you said, depends on what versions of these teams show up. Both teams have shown to be pretty inconsistent throughout the year. But I do think, just in a general sense, Bears are sitting at like 7-3 right now. That feels that feels like a huge. I mean, I know Tristan, you said it, but just a huge letdown spot for them, with a chance to go 8-3 and kind of keep, moving ahead in that NFC North division. It feels a little too good to be true, especially with their teams. They definitely have their deficiencies. So yeah, I like the spot for the Steelers, and also the Steelers are playing for a lot right now. They're still, in the lead in the AFC North, and the Ravens and Bengals, I guess, are still in the hunt. So they have to keep the foot on the gas, and they only have one game separating the Ravens and them. So they're playing for a lot as well. And Rodgers and the Bears, I do like that. Do like that dynamic. It feels like a classic spot on like Monday morning where Big Cat will be like all doom and gloom, because Aaron Rodgers owns them, yada yada yada, and it's the same old Bears. So I kind of see that coming true one more time.
If they lose and Green Bay and Detroit both win, Chicago goes from first to third in the division. Which, to your
Yeah,
point about Big Cat and the doom and gloom, I could totally
yeah,
see that. I mean, it also just speaks to how tight those races are, and it's the same thing in the AFC North with the Steelers. They're sitting at 6-4, they're at the top, but you get the Ravens at 5-5 right there. And yeah, I mean, both divisions are very tight, and it's only going to get tighter from here as they go down the stretch. But yeah, I mean, again, I think this Bears team obviously playing much better, looks much better under Ben Johnson. But I do think there's a little bit of, and I think you're right, Kieran. And like, I think we're going to learn a lot about them. But just looking at this game, I really like that Steelers side. I think they've got an opportunity to really lean on that run, take advantage of that. I think that defense can force some mistakes and put themselves in a position to walk out of there with a win,
Luther Burden touchdown.
which can happen and we still cover. So that's okay.
oh, definitely,
No, I'm not saying.
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, primetime wheel.
I like the colors. Very,
They're both 7-point spreads.
Yep,
yep.
both home favorites. All right.
All right. Tampa Bay and Rams, right?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Taking the Rams -7. Um, they're 7-3 against the spread so far this season, and very good. Very strong ATS history against Tampa Bay, 9-1-1 against the spread in the last 11. Um, coming off a divisional win against the Seahawks under McVay, the Rams 34-17 straight up and 30-17-4 against the spread the week after facing an NFC West opponent. Um, After facing Seattle, the Rams are 9-6-1 against the spread. Baker, um, as an underdog above a field goal at night, 1-8 straight up, including 0-8 straight up during the regular season. The combo of Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles, tough at night, just 2-8 straight up. Without Baker, Bowles is actually 8-8 straight up, so it's not good for Baker. So I just, I look at the numbers and, I love Baker. I love the Bucks. They've been fighting, but these injuries have just been really, really tough on them. The Rams are playing just such great football. Matt Stafford obviously looks like a great MVP candidate. What's he got? Like 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean, this is like that Aaron Rodgers season from a few years ago. They can run the ball. Obviously, they can get it done in the air with the offensive weapons that they have. He's not making any mistakes. I don't see this Bucks defense being one that's going to force a ton of mistakes. And I can see like Baker and the Bucks kind of hanging around for a little bit and kind of making it like keeping it interesting and kind of making you feel like you got a shot. But just with the way that they've looked and the way that things have netted out the last couple of weeks, I'd rather be on the Rams side with this one. I just think they're a better football team at home, and I think they're going to get it done. I think they'll just be too much in the end for the Bucks to be able to keep up. So I'm on the Rams.
All right.
I'm also proud of myself for being able to separate my heart and my mind with that pick. So
Growth. Benjamin.
Um, I'm on the Bucks. I just can't stomach a 7 point favorite in prime time. Just way too many points. I know all the stats, Baker, terrible primetime quarterback. Rams have been looking unbelievable, coming off a huge win. I think that's exactly when you kind of go against that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of really all I've got. I mean, I just think it's too many points. I think that now people are going to start to turn. I mean, I think even the fact, that comment that Tristan just made right before I spun. It's like a couple weeks ago when Jersey Jerry goes on Barstool Sports Advisors and he says, I can't even try and spin this for the Steelers. Like they're going to lose this week. And then they come out and they win outright as dogs. I think it's exactly that. Now Baker's supporters, they're starting to turn on him. They're starting to go against him, fade him in prime time. And I think this is exactly when they kind of come back and they surprise you. I mean, they were in that game. I don't know how they didn't at least cover the spread against the Bills last week. That was crazy. But I mean, they've been competitive in their two losses coming out of the bye. So I think I'm just going to go against the stats here and then bank on the Bucks. I don't think they're a touchdown worse. I just don't think they're a touchdown worse. Home, away, neutral site, anything than the Rams. And even I mean, I was talking to Angela last night. I was looking at the spreads. I understand, Carolina's record is good. They've been playing well. I don't know where they are in the standings compared to the Bucks. I'm assuming they're like right next to each other. I just think it's crazy that the Niners and the Rams are both 7 point favorites over the Panthers and the Bucks, respectively. I just think that the gap in skill between these teams, I think it's a little bit different. So I don't know. The number just seems off to me.
all right. Well, we will not have a Costanza. At least we know that. A lot of pressure, Bowen. Don't fuck it up.
Never do. Never do.
Wow, close.
Yeah, everything in my brain's telling me Rams. I'm an idiot, so I'm gonna fade my brain. Um,
He's pulling a
it's the
Costanza himself.
yeah,
So
it's the
I
Bucks.
just said no Costanza, and then he uses the Costanza method.
I love the Rams. I think this year, I think three of my wins in Armani is on the Rams. Obviously, Tristan, you said it. They are a great team. They're playing like probably the best team in the league, if not top two, three. Um, and the Bucks are kind of on a downward trend, but yeah, I just think it's a lot of points, primetime spot. Talking about the Bucks, I think Sean Tucker, um, absolute dog. I think he's going to keep it going this week. I don't think Bucky is playing this week. I think they ruled him out with a chance to play next week. So it sounds like it's going to be Sean Tucker's show again with some Rashad White in there. I think they're going to be able to move the ball on this Rams team and keep it within that 7 point number. The only thing that really you know, I think could get a little dicey for the Rams. Offensively would be just Vita Vea in the middle and being able to stuff that run. I know they've been able to move the ball through the air at will, but I do think it takes a bit of their efficiency away when you're not able to run the ball with Kyron and Blake Corum. That when they're able to run the ball, they're almost untouchable. But I think being able to stuff the run does does give the Bucks a chance to get a few stops here and there and keep that number down, or you know, within the spread. So I like the Bucks. I don't know if they win the game, but they don't have to with 7 points. There's a pretty big cushion there.
All right. The picks
No
are in.
shit. That's the last. That's it, right?
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah.
That's
board.
it. Those are the picks. All right. Let's recap. Um, so for week 12, we had an auto smash, man. Campbell, Lions -10 over the Giants. Um, Bowen Bowen, you were on the Chiefs, right? -3.5
Yep.
over the
Yep.
Colts. Kieran, you're on the Browns +4 against the Raiders. I am on the Steelers +2.5 against the Bears. And then we will be taking the Bucks on Sunday night +7 against the Rams. Kieran and Bowen are on the Bucks side. I was on the Rams. That's 5-0.
All right.
Let's do it. Um, Kieran, are you when are you coming?
Um, Tuesday.
Okay.
I consider making like a dice clay joke when you ask when I'm coming, but
Yeah, I thought about a follow-up there, but I just let it go.
tonight, and it was good.
Is Marco coming?
No,
Okay.
no, just gonna be me, Gianna, still.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Bowen, what do you
Maybe,
guys think?
well, we volunteered to make the pink applesauce, but Pop will probably just make it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, you guys are gonna get there. He's gonna have like the entire fucking menu of
Yeah.
cake. Yeah. So, Bowen, what do you guys got going on?
We just go to my aunt's in New Bedford,
Nice.
right up the way from us. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Low key
Yeah.
little day. But KB, wait, what you said you're home Tuesday?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I forget what time we plan on going, but um yeah, sometime Tuesday. I
Cool.
think during
Well,
the day, because Gianna was saying she'll be back for the or she'll be able to watch the Dancing with the Stars semifinals, finale, whatever it is.
I think it's the
Um
finale.
yeah, so we'll be back in time for that. And then I don't know when we plan on heading back, but we'll be around.
No,
What
but
is the
yeah, I'm sure
what's
I'll
the
see you.
Thanksgiving schedule?
I just pulled it up. So you got 1 o'clock, we got Lions hosting the Packers. 4:30, we got the Cowboys hosting the Chiefs.
Man,
And then 8:20, we get the Ravens hosting the Bengals.
it's a pretty good slate.
It's a
Yeah.
great slate.
Those first two games are fucking big tilts.
I'm curious too if we're going to see Burrow.
Yeah, I mean he's
I
practicing.
actually had the patch on. I had the patch on my card this week, in my top three. Um, for that very reason, this whole Burrow taking QB1 reps in practice, but he's not confirmed to even be playing yet. I don't know. Something feels weird there. Like I don't know. Also, if they lose this week, it's like they're like kind of out of the playoff race or really close. So weird team. I don't know if they bring Burrow back. It's a really weird team.
Well, that's the whole thing is like you're you're 3 games out with like the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Ravens in front of you. You've got the Ravens next week, the Bills, the Ravens again, and then the Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. So they do have a stretch to close it out where like they could run the table there, but they've lost 3 in a row. They
I
lose
just
the
don't know if that defense is like run the table of bull. Like I don't know if they have the
I mean,
horses
I think
to.
they could run the table against the Dolphins, Cardinals, and Browns, but they got to play the Ravens, the Bills, and the Ravens again. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Well,
a
The Bills do suck. So maybe that is an easier game than.
well, I yeah, the Bills are not who they thought they were,
No.
you know. But I do. Yeah, it is an interesting question of like if they lose this week, do they bring him back? I mean, I could see maybe they, at 3-8, like, all right, we got to run the table. Let's trot him out there against the Ravens and see if we can pull this off and, maybe inject a little bit of life. But I don't know. If he's not ready at that point, it's like, do you just wave the white flag? You know?
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know
Yeah.
like what the because I was thinking about that too, and the Ravens were kind of playing like shit. Lamar was hurt, but he
Yeah.
was coming back in the middle of the season. It's like, I mean, now they obviously have the chance to just go on this run and win the division, but it's like, if it did get bad and it was looking kind of grim in terms of those hopes, like what do you do? But that's what I don't know. I mean, it's not college. You can't just like redshirt a guy. So it's like if a guy's healthy, can you just hold him out like that? Especially if you're, if he's, good to go. I don't know. It's kind of like a strange situation to be in where it's like, do you really
Yeah.
want to bring Burrow back to that situation, even if he's totally good to go? It's strange.
Well, think
And God
about,
forbid if he does get re-injured,
yeah.
everybody on that Bengals organization fired, like
Yeah. Well, I mean,
immediately.
that's
Like,
the whole thing. I mean, it is well known that they do not have the pieces to properly protect him, you know?
yeah,
So
Yeah. I mean, I was saying to you, Zach, you and Simcoe the other day, I mean, like they should just be fired anyways. Like, I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
I've asked the question on Twitter before. I think I probably asked it in our text before as well. But it's like, where is like any evidence that Zach Taylor's a good coach? Like we
Yeah.
literally haven't seen it. Okay, he made it to the
Yeah.
fucking Super Bowl. They made it to the Super Bowl on the back of Lou Anarumo, who there was the defensive coordinator that they fired. And now he's killing it with the
Yeah.
Colts this year. So it's like, obviously he was not the problem. It was the personnel, and that's always been something that we
Yeah.
knew with the Bengals because they spent so much building this offense that they had no
Yeah.
pieces on defense besides Hendrickson, and they didn't want to pay him. So it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure part of that, or a large part of that, comes from the ownership. So they might not hold the front office accountable for that type of stuff. But it's like,
Yeah.
you caused this whole mess with T. Higgins in the offseason. You caused this whole mess with Trey Hendrickson that I still don't think has been resolved. So it's like, like there and the struggles that we need to address, they just haven't been addressed. So it's like, I mean, they should have been fired like a year or two ago. I mean, I think Zach Taylor was on his way to being fired. He kind of got like the Carvalho treatment where it's like he was about to get fired and then they made the Super Bowl and it's like, well, we can't fire him now. He just made a
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if the ownership actually cared and then they paid attention, I think that they should just clean house and try to, actually go in and give somewhat of a defense for this team and give some protection for Joe Burrow and try to actually give them a chance that doesn't require them to score 40 points and still have to get lucky.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And look, I mean, I don't want to let the administration off the hook. I don't want to victim blame, but you got 42-year-old Joe Flacco out there and he's not hurt. He's fine. So
yeah,
it does make you wonder
yeah,
about Burrow's pocket awareness.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's only been a few games. And I mean, we've seen Flacco the last couple of years. He comes in, he looks great. I mean, last year it happened with the
Yeah.
Colts where he came in, he looked great, and it's like, oh shit, we actually have to go back to Anthony Richardson now. Like he's just bad again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? Like if Flacco actually got the keys for the rest of the season, I'm sure at some point he would turn back into a pumpkin. But I mean, it
Yeah.
already kind of seems like maybe teams are starting to figure it out just a little bit. They don't seem as effective.
Yeah.
But uh, yeah. Anyways, to the Thanksgiving schedule, hey, we'll be around, Zach. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of
yeah,
leftovers.
yeah. I'll be
Come
around.
by for some prime time and
Yeah. If you want to swing by after dessert and, one of the late games,
Yeah,
let us know. We'll be here.
yeah, I'll be around.
Yeah.
I'm in.
maybe we'll keep
Oh shit!
Dave Bessie around as our we'll call into the kitchen, have him whip up some sandwiches when we need them.
There you go.
Wait, LSU signed Lane Kiffin.
Is it official? I saw they made a huge offer.
Oh, Mikey V, the Bob the Sports guy, just retweeted it. It's from 11 hours ago, though.
Hold
I
on.
don't know if
Yeah,
you know what.
hold on, because maybe I just didn't read the full. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I saw that they made like a massive offer. I didn't know if they
An offer. It's an offer. Okay,
yeah.
sorry. False alarm.
Wait, what? See,
90 mil.
here, here's what I can't stand. Why do they have to do this right now in the middle of the season?
It's competitive. You got to be
Terrible.
first. Oh yeah, okay. They're finalizing terms of a contract proposal, and they're seeking Lane Kiffin's commitment. So I mean,
Wow.
that basically means that he's going to sign with them.
It's just like, and I know this is the reality of it, and I know I'm probably an old man yelling at a cloud right now, but I'm like, this is where it is abundantly clear that college football is just a business because you got kids that are in the middle of like a playoff run. Like Ole Miss is like in the hunt for this thing. And now like they're sitting there and they're wondering like, is my head coach about to fucking walk out the door, in the middle of like a pursuit of a national championship? And I don't know, it just seems to me like LSU is just making this whole thing about them, because they got burned by Brian Kelly. They're staying in the headlines. They're trying to make a big splash. And the whole thing just fucking reeks. It makes me sick. Like, why can't I feel like, because doesn't the NFL, like, they have rules in place where, like, you can't do anything until after the Super Bowl, right? Like,
Yeah.
you got to wait for that window to close. There's tampering stuff. Like, I feel like college football needs to do something similar.
I think you can at least interview.
Yeah.
Because like I know what was it? It was Chiefs. Yeah, I think Kellen Moore was maybe interviewing before the Super Bowl
Yeah.
last year, but I mean, but then also it's you kind of get like the same stuff as this, where it's like they put out like a thing where it's like okay, like
Yeah.
it's he's not signed, but like they wouldn't be reporting this unless he was going to accept this offer.
No, I know. I know. I don't know. Like, and I don't blame him. I'm sure it's so much fucking money that he's like, yeah, I'll take it. Like, fuck yeah. But
To quote Big Pussy, take it easy.
oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think the whole thing's kind of gross. I mean, it's like we still got like 2 weeks left in the regular season and then a whole playoff. And, it's like now, like, this is just dominating the headlines. And and again, you got these like 19, 20-year-old kids who are in the middle of they're trying to win a national championship, but I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, they probably don't care either, though. They're all millionaires.
well, not all of them, but, some of
If
them.
you play for
Yeah.
Ole Miss, Mike Kadick was making like 600,000 a year as the center at Indiana. So
Was he really?
yeah,
Dude, that's fucking insane.
yeah. So
Holy
I'm sure
shit.
if you see the field at all for Ole Miss, you're probably making like a dentist salary.
Yeah. It's just, even when you say that, I'm like, man, we have really lost the fucking plot here in terms of like college and college sports. Like, it's fucking crazy to me. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
I mean, I was listening to Big Cat. He went on Russillo's show last week, and they were talking about kind of like the changing landscape, especially with like NIL and whatnot. And
yeah,
he was saying, like 5 years ago, Kurt Signetti would already be the head coach at Penn State. But at this point with NIL, and especially a team like, a school like Indiana, where I believe they have like the largest alumni base in the country,
yeah,
it's like, well, no, we can just get you the money here.
yeah,
Like it's no longer like a thing. Like we are going to see a lot of those schools like in Indiana where, they have never really been known as a basketball powerhouse or a football powerhouse. They're gonna be more competitive because it's like coaches can actually just stay and build a program there. They don't have to go to these
because
blue
they can
blood
get,
schools.
because they have an alumni base big enough that they can get the money. Like,
Yeah. Or
yeah,
it's like I saw like I think Lane Kiffin like with LSU, like I think they're gonna have like a $25 million payroll for the roster. That's like part of the offer. Um, so it's like, when you get that type of budget, you can just do a lot. And obviously that's LSU, that's a blue blood SEC program, but
yeah,
going on all around, like there's just going to be, like I think, and I mean, honestly, I think it will be better for like the full landscape, like more jobs just become desirable. And, I think it'll get coaches to stay. It won't necessarily get players to stay loyal. And that's definitely something we're losing from the college game where it's like, I feel like 10 years from now, alumni isn't really going to matter as much. I was thinking about how funny it was. I forget what player it was that I saw, but I'm trying to remember who it was. But it was basically somebody just being like, "Oh, I'm always going to root for him, like in the pros, whatever." And it got me thinking about like I remember seeing like 2 years ago, like Traylon Burks went back to Arkansas for a game, and he was being treated like royalty. And it's like, it was just so funny to me because he's like a fucking bum in the league. But then he
Yeah.
goes to Arkansas and they're like, they bring him out on the field for the pregame and everybody's like bowing down to him and it's like, yeah, like there he's a legend.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like, eventually over time we are going to move away from that stuff because it's like if you're any good and the team stinks, you're probably just going to leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, they're talking about Lenore Sellers and it's like he's still playing for South Carolina and everybody's like already decided like, yeah, he's going to be the Miami quarterback next year. And that's just like how it goes.
And it's like it's Lenora Sellers.
You can't say you guys bet on him for the Heisman. You can't be saying that.
No, hey, that was a bad stock. That was a bad investment. I mean, I was just watching The Big Short. I mean, he has a triple B rating that got packaged up in a CDO, and it is absolute dog shit.
He's a
Just
basketball player. Bad
FICO
basketball
scores
player.
in the dump. So that was a bad investment. Bad investment.
But all right, let's get a good week going into
Five
Thanksgiving,
and
and
zero. It's 5-0.
yeah, and then we'll figure it out from there. I don't know if we want to try and play some Thanksgiving games or not, but I'm already thinking about how I want to format my bets. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe two touchdown scorers each game, then a same game parlay round robin.
I like it. And Andrew Novak to win the RSM Classic.
Andrew Novak.
Yeah.
All right, I'll throw that in.
Golf's going on.
Yeah, we got the fall slate, man.
Fall
Uh
slate's important now.
yeah,
I can't believe I missed the start of that.
I know. Shocking, shocking. I got in on him. I got him at like 60-1 pre-tournament, and then I bet him again Thursday at like 9-1, and then I hit him on end of round two leader yesterday. But he's
Wow,
he's currently the leader, but he's got Thor Bjornsson's like breathing down his neck. So it'll
big
be
lad.
it'll be an interesting
Okay.
weekend. You got to go low to win there. So
Yeah.
see if you can keep it up. But
All right. Word.
all right,
Good.
Later. Have a good
later.
day, fellas.
Yeah, you too, man. See you.